I remember the day I moved into the dorm like it was yesterday, boxes piled high in my arms, my parents waving goodbye from the parking lot as I stepped into this new chapter of independence, heart racing with a mix of excitement and nervousness because university was supposed to be the place where everything changed, where I could finally figure out who I really was away from the small-town judgments and expectations that had boxed me in for so long. And as I pushed open the door to my assigned room, there she was, my roommate Emily, unpacking her things with this effortless grace, her long dark hair falling over her shoulders, wearing a simple tank top and shorts that hugged her curves just right, and she turned to smile at me with those bright green eyes that seemed to sparkle under the fluorescent dorm lights, introducing herself with a warm hug that lingered a second longer than expected, her body soft and warm against mine, sending this unexpected flutter through my stomach that I tried to brush off as just first-day jitters. We spent the afternoon setting up the room, pushing the beds against opposite walls at first but then deciding to bunk them to make more space for a little sitting area with bean bags we both brought, laughing about our similar tastes in posters and string lights that we draped around the windows to make the sterile cinderblock walls feel more like home, and as we talked, I learned she was from a big city, studying art, open-minded and adventurous, while I was the small-town girl majoring in literature, always buried in books but secretly yearning for something more real, more intense than the boring boyfriends I'd had back home who never quite ignited anything in me. That first night, after orientation parties and meeting floors full of new faces, we stayed up late in our pajamas, sitting cross-legged on her bed sharing snacks and stories, her laughing at my awkward high school tales, me mesmerized by how confidently she spoke about her past flings, mentioning girls casually in a way that made my cheeks flush because I'd never admitted out loud the crushes I'd harbored on female friends or celebrities, always pushing those thoughts down as phases or curiosities, but here in this tiny room with her, those feelings started bubbling up uninvited. Days turned into weeks, classes starting, late-night study sessions where we'd quiz each other on notes, her leaning over my shoulder to point at my textbook, her breath warm on my neck, her hand brushing my arm accidentally or maybe not, and I found myself noticing things like the way her lips curved when she smiled, the softness of her skin when we'd bump into each other in the narrow space between beds, the scent of her shampoo lingering in the air after her showers, making me linger longer in the room just to be near her. One evening after a stressful exam, we decided to unwind with some cheap wine we'd smuggled in, giggling as we passed the bottle back and forth, the room growing warmer, our inhibitions loosening, and she confessed she'd always known she liked girls, had her first kiss with one in high school, describing it in vivid detail that made my pulse quicken, my body reacting in ways I'd never felt with guys, this deep ache building inside me as I imagined what it would be like. I admitted shyly that I'd wondered, that I'd never acted on it, and she looked at me with this intense gaze, scooting closer on the bed, her hand resting on my knee, asking if I wanted to try, if I wanted her to show me, and before I could overthink it, I nodded, my heart pounding as she leaned in, her lips meeting mine softly at first, tentative, tasting of wine and sweetness, then deeper, her tongue exploring mine as hands started wandering, pulling me closer until we were tangled together. Close coming off piece by piece in a haze of discovery and desire. That night changed everything, her touch gentle yet confident, guiding me through sensations I'd only dreamed about, her fingers tracing my body, mouth on my skin, teaching me how good it could feel when someone truly understood, waves of pleasure crashing over me as I explored her in return, tasting her for the first time, hearing her moans that echoed in the quiet dorm, bonding us in this secret intimacy that felt so right, so natural, confirming what I'd been denying for years. The months that followed were a whirlwind of stolen moments, late nights after parties where we'd sneak back to the room, bodies pressing together under the covers, experimenting with touches and positions, learning each other's rhythms, her introducing me to toys she'd hidden in her drawer, nights blurring into mornings where we'd wake up entwined, smiling sleepily before rushing to classes, hiding our secret from floor mates but feeling this glow that couldn't be contained. Parties became opportunities to dance close, her hands on my hips, whispering promises of what we'd do later, and I embraced this new side of myself, coming out to a few close friends who were supportive, joining campus groups where I met others like us, feeling less alone, more empowered. But it wasn't all easy, there were moments of doubt, fears about what this meant for my future, family reactions I dreaded, but Emily was there, holding my hand through it all, our connection deepening beyond physical intimacy.